What's up guys? Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the best teams that you could be using right now in Neverness. With 1.1 second half coming, we're going to be having Chaos join the roster, which is going to open up some teams, seeing as he is a new Lakshana DPS. So we'll definitely have some team guides for him once he is closer to coming out. But for now, these are the best teams that I think you could work with right now. And with 1.2, we're going to have even more options open up as we get Shinku and Aroi, but those are still in the not so distant future. So for now, I want to talk about the best teams that I think you could be trying out and some interesting things that you could try out. So right off the bat, we have a pretty premium team here using all S ranks if we include the main character as an S rank character. This is the Hattori Blossom team that I've got going. In this team, Nonali serves as the main on-field DPS. Hattori is a sub DPS. Esper Zero offers us the ability to go through cycles really quick, and G1 offers some support and some more sub DPS damage. The team's gameplay loop revolves around Hattori using her skill, copying Nonali, Esper Zero, and G1's skill, and then swapping back to Hattori to deal massive damage during her ultimate. During this rotation, you want to make sure that you're getting lots of Blossom off. You'll be able to do that through G1 or Nonali whenever their Esper cycle gauge is full, or from Esper Zero whenever you use Esper Zero's ability. Assuming we have zero Esper gauge built up, I like to start the fight off with Hattori, use her ability, rotate into Esper Zero, use Esper Zero's ability, which will then give us a full cycle gauge. We swap into G1 to get Blossom off. We group them up with G1, and then we swap into Nonali. And we use Nonali's skill and do some on-field damage with Nonali while Hattori's gauge fills up for her to use her ultimate. While Nonali's on field, you get to do a bunch of damage with her, and hopefully before you swap into Hattori, you're able to fill up Nonali's cycle, and then you could swap into Hattori for another Blossom proc, and then you use Hattori's ultimate, deal big burst damage, keep on rinsing and repeating. After using Hattori's ultimate, Esper Zero's ability that was copied will then grant Esper Zero another full cycle gauge, so you could go ahead and swap into Esper Zero and get another proc of Blossom off before continuing the rotation with Hattori's ability. I think this team is a pretty solid team right now. It's kind of like the main team for people who pulled both characters during 1.0. If you didn't pull Nonali though, you can easily sub her out from Mint if you want to build Mint as a main / sub DPS, and it doesn't really change the rotation that much at all. Team number 2 is of course one of my favorites. It's a big one that I was waiting to build, but it is my Lacrimosa team. Lacrimosa is a beast damage over time dealer. I've got A6 Lacrimosa, which makes her kind of busted, but if you have just one additional copy of her and you're able to get her A6, not 6 copies of her, but her A6 turns her into an absolute beast with her ability to cycle over and over again. If you have that, you want to play around buffing her up with Sakiri or Haniel, and you build up her cycle gauge, you cast her ability. Once you cast her ability and have a full cycle gauge, you could swap into Sakiri, pop your ultimate if you have it, then you swap to Haniel, or vice versa. You could swap into Sakiri then Haniel, or Haniel then Sakiri, cast your supporting skills, and then the first swap will grant you your Esper cycle. The second swap, you want to make sure that you swap back into Lacrimosa very quickly, because then you'll be able to get Discord off very easily. And that's why I highly recommend, if you can, pulling for an additional copy of her past her base copy, because that A6 is broken. And honestly, when I am playing this team, I spend so much time with Lacrimosa on field that I'm not using Daffodil all that much. However, Daffodil is a great sub DPS and a great breaker, so she is a really good part of this team. However, I think that the two priorities for this team are Lacrimosa and Sakiri due to their ability to synergize with damage over time, as well as triggering Scorch, which enables you to trigger Discord. An option here that I'd consider, considering how little I use Daffodil, would be swapping out Daffodil for either Fadia for more survivability or Adler for more survivability if you really need it. And both of those characters also enable you to use Discord, so they both fit into the team really well if you want to swap out Daffodil if you don't find yourself like using her enough. Another team that kind of uses this core would be if you have Bai Seng. Let's just imagine that Lacrimosa here is Bai Seng, you still have Daffodil, you still have Sakiri, and you still have Haniel. Haniel could be substituted out for Fadia for more survivability. Sakiri already offers a ton of buffs, and you have a really solid team there. You're able to start the fight with Bai Seng, you're able to go through his rotations, charge up his Esper cycle, and then you swap into Daffodil to get Scorch. You can then use Daffodil, you could then go through Daffodil's whole rotation, charge up her cycle gauge, and then you could swap over to Haniel to activate Nova. If you're able to get this off quick enough, then you'll be able to get a Discord proc off, However, sometimes you want to balance out your Esper cycles so that you're able to aim for that Discord proc. This team with Bysang and Daffodil as the main DPS and breaker, with Sakiri for buffs and Haniel for buffs, or you could swap out Haniel for Fadia for more survivability, is a really solid team. Bysang is supposed to be really rewarding, and I would love to play as him. However, he has not joined my team's roster just yet. My last team here is a pretty interesting one that I haven't yet got to get my hands on and play around. It is the Aurelia team, the Octopus Girl. This is kind of a really budget-friendly free-to-play team. It only has one S rank, however you could swap Adler for Sakiri, but this is another option for playing a Discord team with Daffodil as a sub-DPS breaker and Aurelia as a DPS, and then you have Haniel for support, Adler for support, or Sakiri for support, or Fadia in place of Haniel. This is a pretty interesting team that I think has a lot of potential. I don't think Aurelia is all that great, but I think that this team could be fun to play around with if you're looking for something new. I'm going to experiment with it in the next month or two once I have all the resources that I need and I could start building up some additional side characters, but I feel like Aurelia needs some love. Let me know down in the comments below if you've played around with Aurelia at all. I'm super curious if anybody has spent much time playing with her. But yeah, I'm going to try this team out in the future. We've got a lot coming though. We've got a lot coming with Shinku and Arroy. I'm going to be diving into my chaos guide and team building guide for him pretty soon here. But I'm curious, let me know down in the comments below if your teams have been matching the teams that I'm recommending, or if you've been trying anything out unique. Are you just running a hodgepodge of the best waifus in the game, or are you actually trying to build a meta team? Now that Lacrimose is waking up, we could say goodbye. Oh, she's angry. Coming soon, we've got the 1.1 lore deep dive. If you haven't already, check out the non-elite character deep dive that I did. I had fun recording that. And we're also going to have a chaos video coming not too long from now, as well as a guide for him. So stay tuned for that. If you've enjoyed the Everness content, a like would be greatly appreciated, and a subscription would be awesome. So I hope to see you guys in my future videos. Peace.